Let's talk about graphic design basics in Canva. First, we're going to talk about fonts, colors, and images. Why do they matter? Through careful selection and manipulation, you can use font, color, and images to tell the story of your design. There's different kinds of font typographics. A serif is a typeface with small decorative edges at the ends of the letters. These typefaces have a certain air of sophistication about them and are often used for long text as they are easy to read. A sans serif is a geometric typeface with no additional strokes or spurs at the end of the letters. Sans serif make for modern, strong title fonts and are considered easy to read. They also make great partners when applied in different weights. A script font is one which mimics the stroke of a paintbrush, often linking letters together. Adding a script can add a certain edge to your design and create a dynamic and interesting pairing when combined with a sans serif. Letter spacing is the space between letters on a line. Use this technique to fill empty space and elongate shorter words, creating flush lines between headings and subheadings. Line height is the distance between text from the baseline to the baseline. Altering this space can make your type more legible and provide breathing space for tightly tracked lines of text. Selecting the right font for your design or brand should be done carefully and thoughtfully. Keep in mind that a font should embody the character and spirit of your brand, as demonstrated in these examples. You'll see that the Walt Disney script is magical and whimsical. Toys R Us is playful and fun. L'Oreal is stylish and sleek. And IKEA has strong, bold lettering that conveys strength and reliability. Fonts can emphasize your message. Here are some examples of typefaces that you can find in Canva and the characteristics they convey. It's important to make sure that your font is readable, especially if you're using for longer bodies of text. Avoid using elaborate script fonts or uppercase text as it forces strain on the reader's eye and makes the overall text much harder to read. Save those kinds of fonts for titles or headings. In this example, we've taken the Martin Luther King Jr. quote in the font Engagement and revised it so that it is in a more readable font, Open Sans. It's important to understand and leverage hierarchy when creating orders of importance in your text. Titles should be the largest element on the page, immediately grabbing the attention of the viewer, while the body text should be the smallest on the page and read last. Understanding how to pair fonts is an important skill that can help you take your design to the next level, adding a level of professionalism and flawlessness to your design. Create character contrast by pairing bold and regular text treatments or script and sans serif fonts, as in these examples. You can create emphasis in your design by pairing a serif regular with a serif italics or sans and serif italics. Through careful selection manipulation, demand attention to specific text elements in your design by using text spacing and pairing condensed text with a breathable and mildly spaced text, as in this example. Using careful placement of your text, you can create visual order and impact to your overall design. Using text spacing can be an effective way to create balance with all of the text elements in your design. In this example, acrylic bar is spaced so that the letters start and end with the line aligned with paint brushes charcoal canvas. Together, the two lines create a complete unit of text that feels balanced and centered on the page. Colors. The color wheel is a visual representation of more than 16 million different hues arranged around a circle. The tool is foundational to understanding the color relationships between primary, secondary, and complementary colors, and can be used to create countless combinations of unique color palettes. Hex codes are 6-digit numbers used to represent a single color, and each 6-digit number is composed of 3 groups of paired numbers. These pairs represent the levels of red, green, and blue present in the color. So in the first color, the 00 shows the level of red, the FF is the level of green, and the D5 is the level of blue, and so forth with the other numbers. Colors can evoke emotion. Cool colors, greens, blues, and purples, can be found on the left side of the color wheel and evoke calm and soothing emotions. Warmer colors, reds, orange, and yellows, are found on the right side of the color wheel and are typically used to evoke excitement, energy, and passion. The Canva color wheel feature has gradient sliders, which allow you to adjust the hue. That means the lightness or the darkness of the same color. Color relationships. Colors which are analogous are located next to each other on the color wheel. These colors are often found in nature. Our example shows some colors that you would see during the fall when the leaves change color. These analogous color schemes feel balanced and pleasing to the eye. When produced, they produce a seamless and low contrast harmony when used in a combination. Monochromatic colors are dark, medium, and lighter versions, technically that's called saturation, of the same color. The different hues are created by adding white or black or gray to a color. Because they are derived from the same color, designs which use monochromatic colors provide strong visual cohesion. Contrast using complements. Complementary colors are located on opposite sides of the color wheel and create a striking contrast. These colors are used best when you're trying to draw immediate attention to an element in your design, but they may not be ideal for designs which should be viewed for extended periods of time, such as a presentation in a text-heavy document. Creating a color palette. When you compose a color palette, consider the following. Choose a single vibrant color that will be used to highlight the most important element of your design. In this example, the word closed is emphasized with vibrant orange text. To maintain visual focus in your design, limit your color palette to 4 colors, and choose colors that are appropriate to the subject of your design. In the whole grain goodness example, they've opted for rich brown and autumn gold text to highlight the hearty and earthy tones. Images. Use grids to frame your images. Frames are powerful holders for your photographs. Once you've placed an image in a frame, it allows you to resize that image, smaller or larger, and adjust its placement to ensure that you're capturing the elements of the image in a way that makes sense for your overall design. After you place an image in a frame, consider resizing it so you can make room for your text. In this example, they've enlarged the images of the cupcakes to bring focus to the actual cupcake and create more text space for the words sweet and delicate. Moving on to backgrounds, shapes, and layouts. Why do they matter? Having a sound grasp of these principles will allow you to create beautiful compositions of graphics and text. Photographic images can serve as the perfect background for your design. By selecting an image that has limited elements, you can lay text on top that fills the empty spaces in your photos. Increasing the transparency of an image can give the illusion of space. In this example, transparency is used in two different ways. First, the background image transparency has been increased to provide a muted background against the bold pink in text. Second, pink rectangles have been added with increased transparency to add interesting layers of depth to the original overall design. Keep in mind that making your image more transparent can also result in losing some of its detail. You can avoid this by increasing the contrast levels so that the image's shapes and lines are still prominent. In this example, they've created a layered background with the combination of a highly transparent image, 62% transparency, a bright and bold pink overlay, and an additional transparent block on top of that. By adjusting the size of your image, smaller or larger, or changing its placement within your grid, you can establish a clear space to apply your text in creative ways. Images with bold backgrounds can provide an excellent backdrop for text. In this example, the white text looks crisp and clean against a rich blue background. Adding borders around text can nicely frame and bring focus to your message. You can resize a photo in your grid to enlarge a specific texture or pattern that's contained in the image. In this example, the desert photo has been enlarged so that the rippling sand can act as an interesting, though neutral background for the text. For heavily textured images, add a block of solid color to provide a clear backdrop for your text. Make sure to use a color that's in the image to bring cohesion to the overall design. In these examples, they've used deep pink from the raspberries and green from the tall grass, and have also added some transparency to the blocks to allow for some of the texture of the photos to show through. Choosing a photo that is relevant to your message and contains appropriate colors for your design. Then apply blur to that image. You will find that you can create a rich background while also ensuring that the text that's laid on top remains sharp and isn't overpowered by the detail of the background. In these examples, the autumn leaves provide a festive and warm backdrop for a Thanksgiving harvest, and in Nature Hour, the veins of the leaves offer smooth but still visible texture. By desaturating your images, you can create contrast by overlaying bright and bold text. Shapes. With resizable squares and circles, you can draw emphasis to components of your text or provide interesting framing. In Jane Grey Artistry, they've added a square and resized it to a very narrow rectangle to provide separation between the name of the company and its description. In the second example, new has been placed in a decorative circle, drawing immediate attention to the most important text element in the design. Instead of squares and circles, You can add more interesting shapes to provide the perfect placement for important text elements on the page. In these examples, the F in Facebook and the Canva logo have been laid on top of color tags, bringing emphasis to the brands behind each graphic. Leveraging scale in your text sizes can be an effective way of enforcing specific sentiment in your message. In the first example, pink is the largest element on the page, referencing the pink ribbon, which is the international symbol of breast cancer awareness. In the second example, the enthusiasm of the child is highlighted by increasing the size of the word wow in the image, which is advertising a children's summer camp. By enlarging your images, you can reinforce the message that's conveyed in your text. In A Berry Good Life, the photo of blackberries has been enlarged so we can see the detail of each piece of delicious fruit, while in Protection Wildlife, the central image is a very large iguana. There are many ways you can arrange your text and shapes, but one way to create a clean and focused design is by centering those elements. In these examples, one's attention is drawn immediately to the center of the page, which is where the important text elements live. Padding is the margin space that's applied around elements of your design. You should use consistent padding around objects to frame and draw attention to them. This will help maintain balance and consistency in your design. White space is any area within a design that's free from text, images, or embellishments. Understanding how to leverage the white space in your design is an incredibly powerful tool, as it can add emphasis and improve legibility. People sometimes assume the white space is always white, but that's not the case. Any space within your design that's free from text or visuals is considered white space. Using a vivid colored background can be a great way to create lots of space around your text, like a quote, allowing it to stand out on the page. In your layout, use text hierarchy to dictate what the viewer's eye will see first, second, and last. Your most important text, like in this example, milk, should be the most dominant element on the page, followed by secondary titles and cookies, and body text, the recipe found on the milk bottle. Your overall composition should be comprised of elements which consistently speak the message of your design. Make sure you are using colors and type treatments that reinforce your message, like in the playful waffles example, or with the tennis varsity lettering in yellow. A layout can be comprised of multiple images which have been resized to create contrast and bring emphasis to a specific area of the page. In this example, they've used varying sized images related to a spa, but the top image, a beautiful and serene composition of spa items, draws the most attention due to its size. And that's it. On the left in the presentation are hyperlinks to all the tutorials that will help you practice the design elements that I talked about. Ciao, ciao.